Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. We have a brief presentation for you this morning, which is full of useful information, and it also includes a question and answer session with our presenters. The purpose of our presentation is to provide you with information, resources, and strategies that you can use at home to support your child's learning. As we get started, I do want to let you know that this presentation is being recorded, and the link to the recording will be available on our Title I website, the YouTube channel, and we'll also share it on our social media sites. The presentation slides and the link to the recording will also be emailed to those that pre-registered. During our time together this morning, we ask that you please keep your microphone muted during the presentation. If you have any questions, you may use the chat feature, and your question will either be answered during the presentation or at the end during the question and answer session. During the question and answer session, those that wish to do so may unmute and ask questions at that time. You'll learn a lot this morning, so you may wish to jot down your thoughts or questions as we go, and then you'll have them ready for the question and answer session at the end. I'd like to introduce you to our presenters. With us this morning, we're thankful to have Tina Certain, the Vice Chair of Alachua County Public School Board. She attended our last parent Zoom meeting, and we're so grateful to have her partnering with us again. Another exciting guest with us today is Kevin Berry, the Director of Curriculum for Alachua County Public Schools. Kevin is a wealth of curriculum information, and we're lucky because he always makes himself available to present with us on our parent meetings. We'd also like to extend a warm welcome to our newest partner, Shanice Smith. Shanice is a graduate assistant from the Office of the Vice President for Student Life at the University of Florida. She's a strong community advocate, and she and her team spent time pre-COVID volunteering in some of our schools. In this school year, they are working with the Title I department in our schools virtually to share their resources with families, and we're really looking forward to this partnership with them. We also have joining us this morning, Mrs. McNeely from the school board as well. And so if she would like to give a wave, we're very happy that she's on our call this morning. And from the Title I department, I'd like to introduce the Title I director, Valdy Fortner, and our Title I supervisor, Jennifer Steptoe. Nancy Morrison and Scott Zoffness, two of the Title I specialists, are here monitoring the chat. And I'm Mary Cook, the Title I Parent and Family Engagement Coordinator. We have some great information to share with you this morning, so let's get started and review our agenda. In a moment, you'll hear a special welcome message from Tina Certain. Following that, Kevin Berry will explain about the kindergarten through fifth grade standards and progress monitoring, the new kindergarten through fifth grade district reading curriculum, and UFly foundations. Shanice Smith will highlight a few resources available to you on the UFly Parent Resource Hub. October is National Bullying Prevention Month, and Shanice will also discuss that further. The Title I team will explain about the intervention services available at our Title I schools, as well as showcase available Title I resources for families. At the end, we'll open it up to take your questions. I'll turn things over now to Ms. Tina Certain. Let me stop screen sharing. And Ms. Certain.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Ms. Cook. I'd like to say good morning, and as has been said, I'm Tina Certain, a member of the Alachua County School Board. I'd like to welcome each of you here this morning. I'm glad to see the faces on the screen, the names on the boxes in Zoom. I'm excited to learn with you about all of the resources that our Title I department has made available to parents and guardians of our K-5 students. These resources are meant to support and build up our students. And these elementary years are so formative and foundational for our students to get off to a very good learning start in their learning career. And I just encourage everyone that's on the call to make good use of the resources that are made available And please share and communicate with your friends and neighbors that have children that are in kindergarten through 5th grade, because we want to make these resources to be used by as many students as possible. And if there are any hindrances that they have to accessing things that are virtual, to please reach out to their school and let the counselor or the principal, someone on their school site, know that they need help in accessing the resources, and we're here to support you. Again, welcome, and I am excited to be here and to learn with you. Thank you again, and I'm here learning with you all.
All right.
Thank you, Mrs. Certain. I believe I'm next. Hi, everyone. We're excited to have the opportunity to share a few new and exciting things that are happening in Alachua County Public Schools this year. We know that sometimes when your students come home from school and you say, "How was your day?" you get, "Fine." "What did you learn?" "Nothing." So we wanted to have the opportunity to share with you some of the things that we are doing, and maybe that can help you kind of ask some more probing questions to the students. What'd you do in U-Fly Foundations today? What sounds were you working on? So I'm just going to talk through a few things. One, there's been a lot of discussion about standards because the state of Florida is changing the standards that are expected to be taught in our public school classrooms. So we'll take a couple minutes to talk through that a little bit. There's also been some conversations about testing and assessment. And so I wanted to share with you what we're using to monitor students' progress in our schools. And then we have a bunch of really incredible new curriculum resources, especially with English language arts and reading this year. So I wanted to briefly share some of those with you so you knew what was happening and what you should expect to see in classrooms. So for this year, we are working on a couple of different sets of standards in our schools. In our kindergarten through 2nd grade classrooms, we've already begun shifting to the new BEST benchmarks. BEST stands for Benchmarks for Excellent Student Thinking. And we'll have some resources to share with you at the end of the presentation if you'd like to go see what those benchmarks are. I'm really excited about them because some of the previous standards we've had really didn't focus as much on foundational literacy skills as maybe they could have. And so we're really excited to see more of the emphasis on making sure our students are fluent readers, they know their sounds, and they have a great grasp of vocabulary. That's part of the new standards. Our 3rd through 5th grade students are still working on our previous standards, the Language Arts Florida standards, but they'll be moving towards the new BEST benchmarks next year. Same goes with math. For this year, all of our students are still using the Mathematics Florida standards, which are the ones we've been using for the last several years. But next year, there will be all new math standards, the BEST standards for math, which do the same thing. They really help to bring more of an emphasis on students' kind of foundational understanding of the principles of mathematics. So we're excited about those. We're also adopting some new mathematics materials this year. So next year, we'll have all new math curriculum. Science and social studies standards have not changed in the last several years. The great thing about that is the things that have changed is we are learning new ways to incorporate those standards in our math and our ELA instruction to have more of a well-rounded approach to student learning. There's also some required instruction practices and principles. So we'll include that for you in the resources as well, so you can take a look at those. Those are things such as understanding the importance of the Constitution, understanding the impact of the different historical figures on our society, how to work with one another, all kinds of different important pieces with that, including, the importance of many members of our history that may have been underrepresented, but we are required to teach that, and we're excited to have that opportunity to teach that. Already really talked about this. Next year, we'll have all new standards in all K through 5 grade levels for ELA and math. So you will have links to this handout, and I love these because this really is just a really succinct way of explaining what's new in these new benchmarks. It kind of talks through them. This is a 2nd grade example, but we have those for all grade levels. And so you'll have a link to that so that you can look on maybe the one that is applicable to your student for this year and maybe for next year. So you can start thinking and planning about what that might look like. And there's some really helpful things. One of the things we do as educators, and we acknowledge, and we still need to work better at it, and that is we use terms that aren't the typical terms. We have jargon, we have this strange language when we talk about instruction, and we apologize for that. Sometimes we don't even really know we're doing it, but there's a great little glossary here. So if your student's teacher's talking to you and you hear a word that's like, what is that? That doesn't make sense in the real world. Well, here's some great terms that we might be using so that you would have access to those. Always feel free to stop your teacher, by the way, and say, hey, what is that? That doesn't make sense to what I think that word means. Next, there's been a lot of discussion about testing, and in Alachua County Public Schools, we really try to test as little as possible so we can focus on having the time to teach our students, though we do need some data to help us know how and what to teach our students. So we do progress monitor our students on a regular basis to see how well they're grasping what we're teaching them so that we can make plans for better supporting them and better accelerating them. Some of our students may already know some of the things we're planning to teach, and if we find that out, then we can work on other ways to accelerate their learning. So 3 primary ways we're progress monitoring students across all of our schools. We use a process called DIBBLS. It's Dynamic Indicators of Basic Early Literacy Skills. It's a very short assessment given to students. Most of it is done one-on-one. It takes about 2 minutes for students in the upper grades. Kindergarten and first graders takes a little bit longer, maybe 5 to 10 minutes. And it really looks at those foundational skills such as how quickly and accurately they read and how much they know the different sounds of different letters and combinations of letters. So we do that 3 times a year to monitor progress and to make plans. We have our own progress monitoring system in our district. It's called the Alachua Instructional Monitoring System. And this is done in math through all grade levels. 2nd through 5th grade, we have an ELA assessment, and 3rd through 5th, we have a science assessment. And so those help teachers look at the standards that have been taught in a specific time period and how students are mastering those. So for example, we just completed our first quarter grading window. And so that's when we administer the aim. So if a teacher has worked through teaching students specific standards, they're able to use this assessment to find out how well their students are mastering them, to see if they need to reteach or if they need to accelerate. We do this 3 times a year as well. We're excited because we have a different platform that's managing that data, and it makes it really quick and accessible to teachers. This assessment takes about 50 minutes per assessment. So that's 50 minutes 3 times a year. The other one that we administer is the ISIP, which is a computer-based game-like assessment. It typically takes around 20 minutes, and that happens bi-monthly. And this looks at specific skills along the way. So each of these measure different things, and they're the things that we think we need to know to be able to best plan for our students. It's a little different in the elementary grades because sometimes the students may have complete understanding of the standards, but it's because they need some additional support with just reading that can make it sure that they don't know something, but really it's not. It's just we need to provide more reading support for them. Our district uses this research to guide our instruction, and that's the simple view of reading, which basically breaks down reading comprehension into 2 parts. Decoding, so our students understanding how to take text and read it, and linguistic comprehension. So that is, after you're able to read the text, do you understand it? And when you have those 2 things, you're able to comprehend text. So what we try to do with our literacy instruction and all the instruction across all content areas, easy to say because I'm a reading person, we try to infuse that throughout everything. So here's an example. So we have new core curriculum this year, and it is by a publisher called Benchmark Advance. It's used, and I believe around 40 districts in Florida right now. But Benchmark Advance really helps to focus on that linguistic comprehension. All that means is it helps to build students' knowledge. So you can see some examples of some of the texts that are here. They're actual texts. Some of them you might see that you've read before in the library, but they're part of our core curriculum. And it helps our students to be able to take that text, analyze it, and make decisions about it, ask questions, and all the things that are about how to take text and use it to grow knowledge. One of the things that's really unique to this program is throughout kindergarten through 5th grade, all of the reading materials are based on some specific content strands. Those strands are connected to the social studies and science standards for Florida. And if you have a student in multiple grade levels, you might have known this. So a kindergartner will be learning and reading about life science at the same time as a fourth grader, though they'll be learning different things. The kindergartner is learning about plants and animals and how they have specific needs to survive. And the fourth grader might be learning strategies for observing nature around them. So this really helps to build that background knowledge of students, because the more they have background knowledge, the more they're able to understand the text they read. Something that I'm personally really excited about, and I know Ms. Smith's going to talk a little bit about some of the resources from UFly in a minute, but we're also implementing a new K-2 foundational literacy curriculum called UFly Foundations. This has been developed by the last 20 plus years of research from Dr. Holly Lane and her team at the University of Florida. There's been UFly around for a long time, and we've thought of it often as an intervention, but this is a curriculum that's offered to every student in our traditional public schools, K-2, and there are 8 steps to UFly Foundations. It's about a 30-minute portion of our reading block, and you can see what those are there. I know that some of those might be a little bit tricky to know what they really mean, so I thought what better way to see what it looks like than to share a very short video clip, and we'll show a clip of one of those. But essentially that helps students work through specific sounds and blends to get them better at that decoding piece. So Benchmark Advanced really helps us to build that background knowledge and that understanding of the words they read, and UFly Foundations for K-2 really helps to build that foundational literacy instruction. So we'll show that really quick. I'm going to stop sharing for just a second so that I can optimize for video. Please bear with me for just a second while we get that loaded for you.
I love that I'm hearing friends say sounds. What letter says Very good job. What letter says Good job. And then last sound is This is ready? Then.
So that gives our students a hands-on approach to really exploring the sounds of letters. And that's one small segment of an 8-step process. So we're really excited about that. We've heard some really great things. We've seen some huge improvements in students' performance data. We can't wait till January, because one of the things we talked about is DIBELS and how we measure students decoding. So we look forward to seeing how that's impacting our students. But we have great support from the University of Florida Literacy Institute in implementing this, and we are just really excited. Speaking of the University of Florida Literacy Institute, next up we have Ms. Shanice Smith, who's here representing the Division of Student Life at UF, and she's going to share some additional resources with you all.
Good morning, everyone. Again, my name is Shanice, and I'm a graduate assistant with the UF Division of Student Life. I am a community advocate. So I am very excited to join you today and just kind of highlight some resources from the UF Literacy Institute, also called UFly. So they have a direct parent resource hub. So I'll be sharing a few screenshots of what that resource hub looks like and information that you could find. So you will receive a link afterwards directly from Mary that includes the link to the Parent Resource Hub. And some different things that they have available is developmental milestones for ages 0 to 4, different activities for language and literacy for all ages. I love that they have some app links for like fun learning and educational games that maybe you can pull up on your child's iPad. And then also local organizations that can support reading and writing and support for students, especially like maybe for after school. So this is a highlight of what the website looks like. So as soon as you put in the link education.ufl.edu, it'll take you directly to the UF Literacy Institute. And you'll see that they have quite a few different areas where you can look for information. But more specifically, they have a UFLI Parent Resource Hub. So once you go to that area, you'll be able to determine which grade you would like to look at to search for different activities or websites. So 0 0 to pre-K, primary grades K through 3, intermediate 4 through 6, and then secondary grades 7 through 12. So quite a few different options for you. So say, for instance, if you were looking for resources or activities for children K through 3, you'll select that area, and they have information strictly for parents to help you navigate the site and maybe give you some more guidance on what you're looking for, and then more specifically, activities for students. Once you select activities for students, then you'll receive a list of different resources. All of these resources may include links to websites, app links, or even different websites where you can look at their curriculum as well and provide and get some maybe supplementary activities for what your child may be learning in school. So once we click on maybe a few different options, these are the ones that really stood out to me. Reading Bear is a really great website, and just like Kevin was discussing, helping the children learn more about how to sound out the different letters. Reading Bear is a really great website for that. Starfall and Sesame Street have some really interactive, bright games that help them kind of navigate, number one, how to play those games on an iPad, which we understand is starting to become more important at a young age, kids learning how to use technology, but of course we want them to use technology in an educational way. So this is a great way to do that. And even Storyline Online helps, like interactive books online, which was also one of my favorites. So next, say for instance, your child is in a grade 4 through 6, it's the same exact frame as for the earlier grades. You have information strictly for parents, and then activities for students that have another breakdown of options. And some of them cover math or reading, comprehension, or interactive activities. So there are a ton of options out there, and we really want to encourage you to at least take a few minutes to see if you have some go-tos, and maybe you can save them as a bookmark or on your browser, so that maybe for 2 to 3 times a week, you can go ahead and select the link, and you'll already have activities ready for your children. So just some highlights from 4 through 6. I thought Mystery Science was really cool because they have like open lessons that the kids can go to. They're very hands-on, they're very standard, and they don't take a lot of prep. So this is something that teachers can use, but also it could be fun for at home. They have more online library resources, so just more access to books and literature, as well as they have like a language arts, this core knowledge language arts that talks a little bit about curriculum components as it pertains to language arts, and maybe some supplementary activities or information that you can use. So those are some of the highlights for the UF Literacy Institute, but this month is also National Bullying Prevention Month. So I have the honor of just sharing just a few FYIs regarding bullying, and maybe different ways that you can interact with your child in the event that they may be bullying someone else, or they may be experiencing some bullying. So first off, if we talk about how to prevent bullying, one, we want to talk about what bullying is when kids take it too far, and how to stand up to it safely. Telling kids that bullying is unacceptable is definitely one of those kind of primary skill sets when we're talking about social interaction at school that we definitely want to emphasize, because I don't think sometimes we talk about it enough. And make sure kids also know when it's appropriate to tell the teacher, and also how to get help. Number 2, check in with kids often. Truly ask them about how their relationships are going at school, their friends' names. Listen to them and kind of ask about school and understand their concerns, just to make sure that they don't have any concerns. And also just to open the opportunity for them to share more information. And then number 3, model and how to treat others with kindness and respect, and encourage it daily. Next, in the event that your child comes home and they're experiencing some bullying, we definitely recommend that you intervene immediately. Like, it's okay to get another adult to help, or reach out to the teacher, because we want to make sure that we send the message that bullying should not be tolerated. Obviously, separate the kids involved if you're there. Make sure everyone is safe. Attend to any medical or mental health needs. Stay calm and just reassure the kids involved, including bystanders, that this is a time to stay calm and not instigate the situation, and then model respectful behavior even after you have to intervene with some kids that have maybe taken it too far. Some common mistakes to avoid is don't ignore it. A lot of kids, I think a lot of times as adults, we think maybe it's horseplay because kids do tend to, be involved in a lot of horseplays, but there are many times where sometimes it's taken too far, and that's when bullying starts, and then it becomes repetitious when someone does not intervene or the kid doesn't feel comfortable standing up for themselves or telling an adult. Don't always think that kids can work it out by themselves without adult intervention. And don't immediately try to sort out the facts. We want to kind of build rapport with the kids, because bullying and their feelings being hurt, or even them being aggressive towards other kids, can be very uncomfortable feelings for them. And they may not 100% understand what they're doing or the type of aggression that they may be receiving. So we also don't want to force other kids to say publicly, what they saw that may be a little bit too much pressure. And don't question the children involved in front of other kids, because it could potentially really put them on the spot. Don't talk to the kids involved together, maybe only separately after they feel a little bit more comfortable talking about it. And don't make the kids involved apologize or patch up relations on the spot. We just want to make sure we take that intervention process takes a little bit of time instead of putting the kids on the spot. So I think one of the things that's most important is helping kids build resilience and manage conflict. So to end, I just want to share 5 tips for managing conflict. One, when your child is feeling defensive or aggressive, help them to reflect on the situation and to understand what is causing that behavior and those feelings. Children may lack the skills to really handle what's happening or understand that they are being aggressive or defensive, and they may need support. Help them build the skills that they lack so they can respond in better ways to whatever it is that is triggering them. Practice role playing on how to handle different problems. You'll be surprised with how many social issues kids or challenges that kids may experience at school on a daily basis. This helps children really develop ways of handling those challenges. And of course, modeling an attitude of grit and optimism in the face of family challenges really helps them to build resilience. And then working on solving problems together. Let them know, like, hey, the best way, to overcome something is when you can work together with another person and be able to respect their feelings, and also maybe apologize when you're wrong. And then lastly, teach your child how to manage stress, and participating in wellness activities together, like exercise or going for a walk after school, healthy cooking, can really be helpful. So that is the extent of my presentation today, talking about the YouFly resources as well as National Bullying Prevention Month. I hope that was insightful, and I'll hand it over to the next speaker.
Thank you, Shanice. That was very vital information for our families. Good morning, everyone. I'm Jennifer Steptoe. I am the supervisor of the Alachua County Public Schools Title I Department. I've been asked to speak to you today on what is Title I and what types of services are available to students who attend Title I schools. So Title I is the largest federal educational program in the country. The U.S. Department of Education, through the Florida Bureau of Federal Educational Programs, distributes additional funding to schools within the districts so that they can provide additional supplemental supports to students. Those funds are distributed to schools based on the number of students who qualify under a category called Children from Low-Income Families. Our acronym for that is CLIF. However, income status is only used to allocate and distribute funds. It does not have a bearing on the services being provided. Students are selected to receive direct Title I intervention services based on their academic need, which we'll discuss a little bit more in a few minutes. But those funds are allocated, as I said before, to supplement or provide an additional layer of support as needed to students at Title I schools. And this is accomplished in 3 main ways. Working with schools to improve the overall student achievement, improving staff development for teachers so that they can have an impact on their instructional practices, and increasing parent and family engagement within schools so that families can be actively involved and informed about the education that their children are receiving. So you can see here, this is the Title I mission statement. The purpose, as I said, is to provide all students eligible for Title I services with strategic, high-quality academic supports. And this is accomplished through collaboration with schools, families, and community members to determine specific needs and to align resources to best meet those needs. In Alachua County, there are two types of Title I school programs. There are school-wide programs and there are targeted assisted programs. Students in school-wide programs, for all of our students in a school-wide program, that means that the school's base Title I funding can be used to upgrade the educational programs in ways that may impact every student within a school. This also means that every parent or guardian of a student in a Title I school-wide program is a Title I parent. So Title I funds are used by the school for a variety of programs and activities designed to increase academic achievement, especially in reading and math. Our schools work to identify students most in need of educational help. And the schools set goals for improvement, measuring student progress, and using standards set forth by the state's Title I plan. We develop programs that supplement regular classroom instruction and engage parents in all aspects of their child's education. Title I seeks to provide supplemental supports to assist the most academically fragile students while helping schools reach their overall school improvement goals. A school that is operating a targeted assistance Title I program is slightly different. That means that we identify or target students with academic needs for Title I services. We look at assessment results and ongoing progress data for students and identify those who need the extra help to get caught up with their classmates. And the school sets goals for improvement, measuring that progress throughout the year, as is done with the school-wide programs. Families of students receiving those Title I services are provided opportunities throughout the year to participate in a variety of workshops where they can learn strategies and receive resources to bridge learning from school to home. Now, at a school level, it might look for school-wide programs as well as targeted assisted programs, it might look like intervention programs provided during the regular school day. It might look like after-school programs or even programs provided on Saturdays. Funds are there to supplement or provide additional materials and technology. Their funds can be utilized for additional personnel, such as intervention teachers, instructional paraprofessionals, family liaisons, and instructional coaches. Title I works to create the partnerships with families and community members, both at the school level and the district level, to support parent and family engagement activities like this one. Schools, as well as the Title I department, hold regular family events and workshops. Funding is used to provide materials that families can use through engagement workshops, as well as the parent resource area at each school. The parent resource area at your child's Title I school has resources that you can check out to use at home to help support your child's learning. And throughout the year, feedback from our stakeholders is routinely asked for and taken into account when we are planning our future activities. So Title I intervention services, what are they and what information as a parent do I need to know about them? They are an additional layer of instructional support for students who have been identified through a variety of assessments as being in need of supplemental academic support. In a school or a classroom setting, this could look like students working with an instructional paraprofessional, one-on-one or in a small group on a focused academic skill like letter or sound identification, decoding words, fluency practice. A lot like what Mr. Berry was describing with YouFly. It could look like an intervention teacher providing guiding instruction using one of the evidence-based programs that are aligned with the specific needs of the students in the group. It could also look like after-school tutoring, where small groups of students receive additional instruction in literacy or math beyond the regular student day by a certified teacher. So as mentioned with the previous slide, students are selected for direct Title I intervention services based on academic need. Schools use a variety of assessments when creating groups for interventions. For example, students in grades 4 and above, a school would likely review the students' FSA scores from the previous year, in addition to district assessments, such as AIMS and the ISIP assessment from iStation that Mr. Berry referenced earlier. Younger students may be identified through DIBELS or flickers. Teacher recommendations and daily school performance are also taken into account when the selections are made for intervention. Because each school's student population is different, school leaders use their knowledge of student needs and their available resources to form intervention groups. And you may be wondering, how do schools communicate initial invitations to intervention services, and how is progress monitored, and how is that information communicated to families? Those communications often come in 3 ways: letters, phone calls, and conferences. Many schools notify families in writing of their students have been identified as someone who would benefit from intervention services. Oftentimes, a letter may request that the parent contact the school to schedule a conference to review the student's academic progress and discuss intervention options. A letter of invitation to participate in extended day intervention or after-school tutoring is a common way that schools reach out to parents regarding this opportunity. So what data may be used to monitor a student's progress while they're receiving intervention services? Participating students are monitored quarterly using the ISIP assessment from iStation. Individual student targets are set for students based on their initial baseline score from the beginning of the school year. Student growth is assessed and monitored quarterly by the Title I intervention teachers, as well as the Title I intervention instructional coach at each school. One thing to remember is that Title I interventions are not a graded class, so you won't see a grade on report cards for that intervention period. So who would a parent contact at their school for more information about intervention services and their child's progress? If you have questions regarding what intervention options are available at your child's school, you can reach out to your child's teacher or the Title I instructional intervention coach. So now I will turn it over to Mary to share more information about our Title I resources.
Thank you, Jennifer. And as Jennifer mentioned, we do have Title I intervention services that take place during the school day, but Title I also has a wealth of resources available for families to use at home to support learning. The Title I website has a lot available for you. And to locate the Title I website, you would first go to the Alachua County Public Schools website, which is www.sbac.edu. And then you would click here on departments and then select Title I. Or you can go directly to the website, which has the same beginning as the school board website, and then just add Title I at the end. And like our other presenters have mentioned, these links will be available for you once you receive this presentation. I would like to go live to the website just to show you a few of the highlights. When you're on the website, if you scroll down a little bit to the middle, that is where our parent and family engagement section begins. And we do have instructional videos and our previous webinars that are posted here. And you would simply click the arrow and they expand down. And a lot of these are videos that are also posted on our YouTube channel. We have added resources for secondary school students and their families. And again, if you were to click on this arrow, it opens up to different links for you. And this is an area that we are expanding this year. So if you have students that are in middle school, high school, or looking for next steps after high school, this would be an area that I would direct you to. We have, for parents, a very long list of informational links. Some of the ones are the ones that Kevin mentioned. And then we also have educational links. Now this list, you'll notice, is geared towards the students. And most of these websites offer some free content. And these are game-based, and they target different age groups and different subject areas. And we don't endorse any particular website. We're just simply sharing resources with you. But these are sites that we tend to use in schools, and I know students like to play at home as well. And if you were to continue scrolling down, we have academic resources available for you, and these are pre-made activities, and we are always adding to this. So if you were to click here, what it would open up would be another page for you, and we have 3 tabs currently. The first one, these are PDFs, so they're available to be printed, and they're geared right now mostly towards younger students, I would say pre-K through 2nd grade. And these are our reading resources. We do not have very many science. Again, this is an ongoing project, but we also have some math available for you. And we do get into some things for the upper grades, such as 3rd through 5th grade with multiplication and division. Back on the website, one of our coolest features for you, we have the Parents Make the Difference newsletters, and then we also have Parents Make the Difference daily learning planners. And I'd like to show you the October version for elementary. Now, these are available every month for free, and they are available for elementary, middle, and high school. So there's a different version for each grade area, and they're also available in Spanish. So the newsletter is typically 3 to 4 pages long, and these are different topics that parents would find interesting, and they typically relate to what's going on in the school year at that time. So at times they are related to different subjects. There's topics to have conversations with your child about, how to help build confidence at home with chores, test anxiety, how to interact and talk with your child's teacher. So these are full of information here. And again, those are available for free every month. The daily learning planner is a 1-page document, and it's available every month. And there's a different activity or discussion topic for each day of the month. And so this is something that is really neat. You go ahead and print this out, put it on the fridge, or save a screenshot of it on your phone, and each day take a look at something that you could do or talk about with your child. So we also have social media accounts on Twitter and Facebook, and we post upcoming event announcements such as this one, as well as academic resources and links to videos and different types of tips for families. We also have a YouTube channel, and I'd like to show you that quickly. We do have a lot of videos, so obviously you can look at it by just selecting videos, but we also have it organized by playlists. And so we do have some of our secondary resources here. We have presentations that we've given to community groups as well as families. And then we also have activities that you can do at home with your child. And this was a project we worked on last year. So these are sight word activities for kindergarten students to do at home to review sight words. And we also have activity videos for the summer, and that's something that we'll be updating and adding for this coming summer as well. We've all mentioned that we have the links available for you on one page. And so when you receive this presentation, it will also be posted on our website. All of these links are active. And so we have taken everything that we've each talked about and put it for you here on this one slide. And I'll now hand things over to our Title I Director, Mrs. Valdy Fortner.
Good morning, and thank you so much again for joining us this morning. I hope that you found the information and the resources helpful, and that you'll be able to use this information to help your children have a successful school year. As Ms. Certain said earlier, please be sure to share this information with others. By working together, we hope to strengthen the home and school connection in an effort to increase student achievement and provide the best learning experience for your child and all students here in Alachua County. Please be sure to take a moment now to complete our brief survey. You can simply scan the QR code here that you see. The purpose of the feedback is so that we receive some guidance on future presentations. We certainly want to be sure that we're providing the information that you're needing. For example, this presentation included all the curriculum information that Kevin Berry shared with us because parents asked for that information on the September survey. The slide before this one, where all the links were compiled for you, was in response to feedback we received last April from a previous presentation. So I assure you, we do listen. We want to, again, we're here for you, and we want to be sure that we're providing you with what you need. I want to give an opportunity now, Dr. McNeely, our school board chair. I don't know if you would like to say a word, Dr. McNeely? And you may want to unmute yourself, Ms. Dr. McNeely.
Mrs. Fortner and team, thank you so much for the presentation today. You had a lot of information, and so we will certainly know that parents will go back. The link that Mrs. Steptoe or Ms. Cook will be sending out will be beneficial, but I want to say thank you to the parents who are with us this morning as well. And hopefully this presentation will be a lasting opportunity for you to really understand what the great things that happen in Title I are for your kids. So again, thank you so much, Mrs. Fortner and team, for such a great presentation. And to, I think it was Ms. Smith from the University of Florida with UFly, we appreciate her as well. You have certainly been superior today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. McNeely. Absolutely. Again, thank you to all of our parents and all of our presenters. We know it takes time out of your busy schedules, and we appreciate you doing that. At this time, if you have questions, please feel free to unmute your mics or simply place questions in the chat box, and we're happy to answer those.